Welcome back at 9:22, and we are talking with Chris Amon from Inspired Life Wellness Clinic about embracing your imperfections, whatever they happen to be, whether it's, you can't leave your cell phone alone, or you're picking at your hands, or, kids. I think we do that to our children, without meaning to. It's like, okay, we're going out in public, we have to spiff you up, or why don't you just do this or that, or why don't you wear this or that, or in school.
Or don't embarrass us,
don't
please.
Embarrass
please
me.
don't embarrass us.
Don't embarrass
Right.
me.
So let's talk about that. The imperfections in maybe your spouse or your partner and things like that. How do you take an imperfection, something that just drives you nuts, and kind of flip it so you embrace it and just kind of make it, I don't know if I want to use the term endearing, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, part of it is you have to see them as being who they are, and you have to accept them for who they are. If that's part of the way they are, who they are, what makes them that person, you just kind of grab onto it and just accept it for what it is.
That sounds easy to do, but what if it's something truly annoying, like cracking your gum, for instance, or something that is just
Someone that's constantly late.
driving you crazy.
Well, you can always try and encourage them to stop those things, or just say, hey, that really kind of is
Bugs
disturbing.
me.
It kind of bothers
You
me.
do that again, and I'm going to go completely.
I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
Chewing with your mouth open
Yeah,
is another one. But part of that is developing manners. But you don't want to push it to the point where people think that they have to change who they are in
So
order
it's not
to
like a
fit
little
what you
annoying
want.
habit. It's
Right.
deeper than that.
It's deeper than that. People who are perfectionists tend to have a very low internal sense of self-esteem, and their self-esteem is based on what the public thinks of them or what others think of them.
But please tell me that we as parents are not doing that. That it's something, not all of it. It's got to be some of it's got to be personality.
No, there's the social stigmas that are associated with it. There's the parents. There's part of its personality. There are some people who are perfectionistic because they just think that they have to do everything right all the time.
Is a birth order thing a play in there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Again, going back to the personality, you always hear about the type A personalities, that sort of thing.
Right. The very driven people, they have
Yes.
that inner charge, that inner drive. Type A people often take more risks, though.
I'm trying to think back when I was married, and I think that there were certain things about my wife then that were annoying. I mean, we were both imperfect, and we both had our problems, but those imperfections eventually, over time, became the most endearing things I felt toward her. And
Right.
But it took a while. It took a long while. Because I always, eventually I made the brain switch that that's the way she is. I'm not going to change her. Why not just accept it and embrace it?
Oh, that's
Right.
just her.
Yeah, well, for lack of a better term, yeah, that's just the way she is.
The thing is, when you embrace those imperfections, you allow that person to be vulnerable. And people who are perfectionistic tend to have more superficial relationships. They don't allow themselves to open up and be vulnerable because they're afraid people are going to think there's something wrong with them. And so if you start to embrace the imperfections, you have deeper relationships as well.
Okay.
So being vulnerable is okay, but
Opening
it's not
yourself
an easy
up
thing
and
to do.
trusting. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, but it is one of the ways to break that perfectionistic tendency.
All right, so there you have it, folks. What you need to do is stop being annoyed if you can, and try to embrace it and think it's just kind of
vulnerable.
kind of quirky.
Yeah. Chris, thank you
Yes,
so much.
You are welcome.
And if you have any questions for Chris Amon or any of the staff at Inspired Life Wellness Clinic, there's your contact information. Perfectly imperfect, Chris.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up on North Dakota Today, Chef Tony is in the kitchen.